Welcome to the Kife Podcast, and welcome to the debate. Today, we are looking at a pretty wild projection coming out of Silicon Valley right now, the one-person unicorn.
Right, the idea that a single human orchestrating this expansive swarm of AI agents can basically run a billion-dollar company all by themselves.
Exactly, and the real tension here is about time. Does this technology genuinely unlock a 15-hour work week of pure creative direction, which, full disclosure, is where I land? Or are we fundamentally underestimating the cognitive grind?
And I am firmly in the latter camp. The idea that you can manage a billion-dollar enterprise on a part-time schedule is, well, it's a complete misconception. The inherent limits of AI autonomy mean that continuous, intense strategic oversight is absolutely inevitable.
I see why you think that, but let me give you a different perspective on what is driving this time economy. We aren't just talking about automating basic data entry anymore. We are talking about agentic swarms where your AI marketing director, coder, and accountant seamlessly interact.
Seamlessly? I mean, come on.
Yes, seamlessly. When the operational drag, the API friction, the cross-department synchronization, when that vanishes, the founder's role shifts. You are no longer operating the machinery, you are just pointing it. And that level of high-level curation doesn't require 40 to 60 hours a week. It requires maybe 15 hours of high-impact creativity.
But wait, let's look at what happens when those agents actually have to interact in the wild. I tried running just 3 autonomous agents last week to, manage my inbox and calendar. And the cognitive load of just untangling their conflicting priorities completely exhausted me.
Right.
But hang on, let me finish. Scaling that multi-agent orchestration to a billion-dollar valuation, the unique human qualities required to govern that complex judgment, rapid strategic pivots, nuance, those simply cannot be automated. You are replacing physical execution with massive cognitive labor.
That is an interesting point, though I would definitely frame it differently. Your inbox agents were likely tripping over narrow context windows. In a mature, unicorn-scale architecture, the swarm self-corrects.
Self-corrects?
Yes. The human isn't untangling daily operational knots. If the system handles the execution, the founder is entirely focused on the unautomatable human element. Market intuition and creative vision. Why would setting that high-level vector take a traditional work week?
I am sorry, but I just don't buy that. Let me tell you why. You are totally ignoring the velocity of the market. If your AI coder pushes an update that your AI marketing agent instantly builds $1 million ad campaign around, and neither of them realizes the feature violates a new OS platform requirement, who catches that?
Well, the guardrails.
Cascading algorithmic failures happen at light speed. You can't just check in on a Tuesday afternoon. Managing unprecedented market edge cases requires a human to synthesize those outputs and verify the entire structure. That is a highly demanding, full-time leadership role.
I am not convinced by that line of reasoning, mostly because you are applying a legacy management framework to a fundamentally new paradigm. You are assuming the human has to constantly monitor for those cascading errors.
Because they do.
But they don't. In a true time economy, the system's guardrails are absolute. The ultimate wealth here isn't just financial, it is total control over your schedule. The friction of execution is gone, allowing a single person to comfortably guide the ship.
I come at it from a different way. The friction of execution is gone, sure, but the friction of strategy is multiplied by 1,000. AI cannot invent a coherent corporate strategy out of thin air when a competitor pivots overnight.
It doesn't need to invent it. That is what the human is for.
Exactly, and can maintain an accurate mental model of an enterprise moving at that unprecedented speed to provide the necessary strategic oversight. That is an all-consuming puzzle. It is not a relaxed 15-hour hobby.
Single person, the raw operational leverage of a massive traditional corporation. But from my side, removing that operational friction ushers in a relaxed time economy governed by human creativity on a 15-hour schedule.
And from my side, wielding that unprecedented leverage inherently demands intense, continuous human strategic governance. The 15-hour workweek remains a persistent illusion.
It is going to be fascinating to see whether the one-person unicorn becomes the ultimate creative lifestyle business or the most demanding strategic challenge imaginable. That is something you will have to decide for yourself as the technology unfolds. Thank you for joining us to explore these perspectives. And please remember to subscribe to the Kife Podcast to catch all of our future discussions.